reach up and open that for me.
Hey, how you doing?
Alright, so this week we're going to be talking about the Jungleland Zoo. Just about everyone and their mom has done a video on this place, but Bryan and I were brought here by some good friends of ours. Plus, Bryan took a nail to the foot, so it would be a shame not to even use this footage. Today, we're joined by Brennen from Uncharted Travel, Matt Sonswa, and Jake Williams from Bright Sun Films. Now let's get into it. Again, since everyone, including Jake and Matt, has covered this place, we'll try to keep it fairly short. So the property dates back to the 70s. At the time, it was known as Alligatorland Safari Zoo, and it contained around 1,600 exotic animals. In 1982, Gatorland Zoo filed a suit against Alligatorland for its similar entry, which, let's be honest, the two wildlife parks were similar in more ways than one. Speaking of which, the 126-foot-long alligator at the entry of the parking lot is the world's second largest model alligator. In the mid-80s, Florida was under attack for having the worst zoos in the country due to mistreating animals in either psychological and/or physical manners. In the United States, there's about 2,400 zoos, and I would assume that a good majority of these, or at least a good amount, would probably be in Florida. So it's awfully unfortunate that they would receive such reviews. Me personally, I don't agree with the concept of zoos because of the fact that it has to be extremely psychologically taxing on an animal to be stuck in a cage its whole life, or even just part of it.
Will work for... crazy. You can still smell the animal presence, which I know very well because I'm from Texas.
In 1990, Alligatorland Safari Zoo was issued a $1,500 fine after a USDA inspection was conducted on the property. The inspectors issued the citation for extremely old fecal matter in cages involving potbelly pigs. Darren, the owner at the time, claimed that it was just in spite of him not putting up an 8-foot wall, which he was initially told to do. Legally, he didn't have to due to the surrounding swamp, though this fence would have come in handy for an event that takes place later on in the zoo's history. In 1992, after 2 years of refusing to pay the fine, Browning attempted to fight the case during a 2-day trial in court. Ultimately, he lost, and he chose to sell the property in 1995. What? Spider web?
A big spider was just right there.
Well, he's gone now. That's the important thing.
You can go first.
Go first? Are you dumb? I'm just gonna walk around the other way.
Jungleland Zoo opened in 1995 on the property. The zoo only featured around 300 animals, which is far less than that of its predecessor. Jungleland focused on the bigger cat species, such as bobcats, all the way up to Siberian tigers.
So is this where that line got out?
Yes. You're right. I thought they found it on the highway though.
I don't know. It took a while for them to catch it though. I don't know how much.
That's
A couple days.
In the winter of 1997, a hard rainfall hit the area, flooding many of the enclosures and forcing groundskeepers to move the animals to higher ground. This became an issue when Nala, a 450-pound female lion, had escaped. So, that's where the wall or fence would have come in handy. For 3 days, a helicopter and a team of 20 people armed with tranquilizers attempted to track the lion. News reports claim they found the lion along the nearby highway. However, Jake, Brennen, and I had talked to one of the workers clearing out the property for future plans, and he also worked for the guy who owned the property before. He said that they found Nala about 200 yards from her enclosure, and she never even left the property. So maybe the media just hyped that one up.
Relax, walking floor here. It's pretty. I'm surprised if the rockets are
We already went in there, Bryan. We should go over here. Check this one out. Plus, I feel like 4 people or 5 people in one room. I don't want to get.
In 2002, the zoo had removed all animals from the public's view, and they marked everything in the gift shop to half its original price. The local news reported that it was due to a recent investigation by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and the United States Department of Agriculture for violating the Animal Welfare Act. The state inspection had reported the property had major drainage issues as well. The state inspection also reflected a report of degrading cages and fences that were too small for certain areas. The owners claimed that the zoo had closed due to post-9/11's lack of tourism, but again, the news report stated otherwise. In 2015, the Jungle Habitat Preserve purchased the property. They specialize in helping out zoos that contain exotic animals, but don't have the funding to do so any longer. Which, as you know, in 2002 all the animals were removed, so it's likely the Jungle Habitat Preserve was just going to use the space for extra storage.
Florida's hot.
Florida's extremely hot. I'll go first.
As of January 2019, we know of a new owner. We actually got to meet him. He gave us permission to explore the property, as well as educating us on some of the past and future for the place. His plans consist of a safari zipline setup that would go across the gator enclosure. Now, my first thoughts on that were, good luck getting the permits for that, but then I thought about it. It's Florida, and I think there's a place like that already, so I'm sure he'll be fine. Anyways, I'd have placed his interview within the video, but unfortunately, I forgot to ask permission to do so, and I'd rather just avoid any trouble altogether as far as that goes.
Cage. All the gear shifters and even like a mesh sort of net I would have tied down equipment with.
Alright, that'll conclude our video for this week. I hope you enjoyed our take on the Jungleland Zoo, and I want to thank Matt, Brennan, and Jake for taking us out here. Bryan and I had a great time. I mean, other than Bryan stepping on a nail, that was pretty inconvenient, but, you know, accidents happen. Anyways, you should like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video from us. And as always, stay safe.